Hey everyone, hello. It's been a while. I haven't made a video for my YouTube in several months. It's been a long time. I kind of been concentrating on my Patreon for the last year or so. So kind of been neglecting my YouTube. So I'm sorry about that. But I'm here to say I'm back, and I'm going to be uploading a video that's going to be coming on right after this. It'll be two parts, and it's about this painting behind me here. So I did this back in March, and it's on a 14 by 17 format, Bristol vellum paper, if you're familiar with that. But so the full video of this painting from start to finish is 5 parts, and it's on my Patreon channel. If you're interested in seeing the full thing start to finish, you can go there. And I'm just going to plug myself because, no one else is. But I have a lot of content up there. And so if you like what you see on the YouTube and you want to see more, you can go to Patreon. But besides that, I'm also going to be uploading stuff to YouTube again, just to kind of keep it updated. And it might be more about videos just about what I'm going through in life, just in general. So maybe a little boring, but I want to just do more than just painting tutorials. So it might be other stuff. But yeah, so I am going to upload 2 parts of this video, or this painting that I made back in March. And the parts that I'm going to be uploading is just going to focus on the water, this lake here, and then like the foreground, like this log, this kind of bush, and kind of the shallow water areas in the foreground. And so it'll be 2 parts. The first part's going to be about an hour. The second part's about, I don't know, 35, maybe 40 minutes. So, and it'll just focus on this portion of the painting, basically from halfway down. And I use some different varieties, different brands of oil pastels. As you know, I use like 5 or 6 brands of oil pastel. I talk about that a lot in my YouTube videos. There's some older videos you can watch about that. But a lot of this is done with these Hayas by Paul Rubin. And this is a 72 color set. I do have a 50 color set somewhere down here. And I like them so much that I got the 72 color set. And they're really good. I mean, they're really affordable, for one. That's one thing that I like about them. But as far as their softness goes, they're second best to, I'd say, Sennelier. They're pretty close to Sennelier as far as how soft they are, how creamy they are. I would think they're a little bit oily, but their softness is very comparable. Anyway, you can find this. You're probably going to have to search around on the internet. I honestly forgot where I got it. They're made in China, so I don't even know if you can get them nowadays, considering what's going on with all the tariffs. But I think I paid like 49 bucks for this, for 72 colors. That's pretty awesome. I mean, that's really affordable. And like I said, if you like Sennelier, if you like that softer oil pastel, you will love these. And yeah, they're great. Here, I'll just kind of open the box so you can kind of see. Obviously, I used a lot of them, so a lot of these sticks have been used, like this one here. The bummer about these is that you can't buy open stock, at least not yet, not in the United States. So, when I run out of some of these colors, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to buy another new set, or if I'm just going to just be without that particular color. But anyway, they're really nice. I like them a lot. Like I said, next to Sennelier, they're pretty decent. I'll have to say that, and they're very affordable. So anyway, so I used a lot of the Haya here in this painting, but I also used some of my other brands. And so, there's 5 parts to this total painting. So 1, 2, and 3 is up on the Patreon if you want to see from the very start. I focused up here in the earlier videos, and then the parts I'm going to show here on YouTube is really just about from here down. So anyway, hello. I know it's been a while. Sorry, I've been working a lot. I haven't been painting a lot, which is kind of depressing. But I've been focusing on other things like my health. Like I've been working out a lot, I've been walking, I've been bicycling, I've been consistently doing these things and lifting weights and eating. I changed my diet. I've been gluten free for a long time because I have celiac disease. But I've recently quit all dairy. I'm kind of lactose. Like I can't do like ice cream or milk, but I quit. But I kept, eating cheese because cheese is great. But yeah, so I just stopped all dairy, including cheese. So which sucks because I can't really do nachos or I like to put cheese in my tacos and like gluten free pizza with no cheese. It's like eh. But anyway, so I've changed my diet, which is for the better for my health. I'm 52. I want to just feel better when I eat my food. I'm looking more towards like whole food ingredients when I think about what I'm going to eat. So anyway, that's beside the point. I know that's way beyond what you probably want to hear, but like I said, my YouTube's going to kind of change. I'm going to talk about more just about just living day-to-day life, and I'm actually getting ready for a backpacking trip coming up in July to somewhere that looks kind of like this, and it's a 5-day trip total. And so I've been getting ready for that mentally and physically. And first time I've ever done something like this. I'm going with some other guys, so I'm not by myself, which is good. But yeah, I plan to take a lot of pictures and then bring that home and then do a lot of paintings. And I'm going to be uploading some of those. And then, I don't know, maybe I'll make some videos while I'm out there, kind of in the middle of nowhere. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, hey, thanks for being part of my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting and all that stuff. Sometimes I can get back to you. Sometimes I just forget. So don't take it personal if I don't reply to a comment. But yeah, all right. Okay, so yeah. So right after this, you can watch how I did basically from here down. Okay? All right, bye. All right, so I am back, and it's been honestly about a week since I last touched this painting. Just been busy with work and just everything going on in life. Just haven't had time to come back here to the studio to work on this. So I do have some time today, so let's go ahead and continue on. Now where I left off is I was going to start on the water, as I've been working mostly on this half of the painting above here. So let's start on the water. Okay, and here's the reference. Take a look at the color in the water, kind of this nice turquoise green, a few different greens, the shallow part of the water, reflections and all that. Okay, so find a good turquoise green here with the Hayas. So I have a feeling I'll use this one, although it's not turquoise, but I think it might come in handy. This one looks promising. And then I do see, like right here, go back, kind of a deeper green maybe. So maybe one of these. Here's also another turquoise that might work out. So I got a couple of different those are right there. Yeah, let's just start with that. We'll start with this one. I'm going to pull some paper back here to give us a little bit more of the stick to work with. Okay, and then I think I'm going to need some of this sky blue to kind of tone it a little bit. But let's go ahead and start with this turquoise green. We'll just start laying in some of this in the water. Now it's been a week, so the surface here has been set up for quite a while, and it does allow for easier layers to go on top if you just let the oil pastel sit for a little bit, as it can become a little bit easier to work on. That's about right where I want to go with this. I'm just going to kind of spread that with my finger and just kind of see how that looks. Okay, that's about right. Let's go ahead and continue with this. Yeah, so it's been a week. Been meaning to come back into the studio, but just been so busy with work and just other things going on, just just haven't had the time. But today, I got some free time. Okay, and I'm going to transition over to a more of a sky blue color here into the water. Kind of blend that into that green, because that's what I see in the reference as it kind of transitions over. It's so nice the way the Hayas just blend very soft, very easily. There's no problem with it, of being able to get this to sit down and blend in really nice. Very nice to work on. Alright, now I'm going to kind of come into this same kind of color, just a shade on the bluer side, and put this in, see what this looks like. As I see in the reference, it does transition over to more of a deeper greenish blue, kind of right in this area. Okay, so I put a little color into it, and then just kind of press in with my fingers here and just kind of move it horizontally like this. All right. And you see how I just blend those two colors right next to each other. Yeah, it looks pretty close to the reference photo over here. No, not exact, but very close. Close enough. Okay. So I like these two combos here going. Let's keep going with this. You can see how I apply it, just very back and forth application. I mean, I'm not doing this vertical, because the water doesn't move that way, it moves like this. All right, so it just helps me in my mind to stay in that motion. Okay, and then I always blend horizontal. Alright, get those layers mixed in with each other. Okay, let's add some more layers. Now right here we get into some shallowness here, so got to keep in mind about what this catch color is. It's like this ochre brown color, but a bunch of different shades of that. All right, so just need to understand here how I'm going to transition over to that shallow water area. Let's keep going. Let's add some more deeper color into it. I like this light blue, kind of helps tone it just to the right tint there, back in there. Okay. That's a pretty color, that greenish, kind of turquoise-ish color. Okay, so in the deep water here, we got to come with a darker blue. So let's start with this kind of Prussian blue, kind of same color I used up here, but much deeper, because it's reflecting, this part of the water is reflecting this. So it's kind of going to be almost the same here. Okay. Now we have a bush here, and so I'm just going to, I know I'll have a big bush here that's going to come up to about like right here. All right, so a lot of this is going to get covered up, but through the leaves and branches, I'll see this dark color back here. Nice deep blue right back in here. All right, see how that looks. There we go. Looking pretty good. Let's add some, a little bit more color into the water. Just trying to match that reference. Get maybe some rippling. I'm not really putting a lot of pressure down. I'm just more or less letting the stick just drag across, kind of pulling out the texture, trying to get a little bit of water movement. Okay. I might need to bring a different blue for that effect, but that's kind of what I'm trying to aim for here. I can just let the paper kind of make that texture. So I just kind of do a light drag on the stick, and it drops color here and there. Okay. And then I come back in with this darker blue and kind of put in some rippling. Okay, now behind this log it is a bit dark, so I'm going to kind of put those darks where I see them. Okay, so I'm looking at the darks of the water and I'm just putting those darks in, dragging it out. Okay, and come back in this lighter green. That's about right. I think I need a little bit different green in some parts. This darker green here might be what I'm thinking about. This one here. Yeah, I think that's about right. You can kind of see a shade of that over here too. Notice how everything is going horizontal motion with the water, specifically with the water. Okay. See how I'm bringing in a little bit of that light, the water reflecting the light somewhat here. Okay, I think I'm going to bring a different blue to that. Perhaps this one. Let's just see. I don't know if this will be the right one. I want something a little bit lighter than this. I don't know. Is it this one I want? Maybe this one here was the right one to begin with. Yeah, I think that's it. It's all about finding the right stick for the right part. Okay, now I see a little bit more of this Prussian blue kind of making its way a little bit right here. I see what looks to be some brown right here. So let's find a brown. Might be this one. A little bit of a brown right here. And then it's actually got a lighter tint to it, so maybe closer to this one. Just again, trying to find the right color as I'm looking at this reference here. It's got this really pretty golden ochre-ish. I think that's part of the sediment underneath the water that we can see a bit of. Okay. Where I see those darks, I just kind of lay them in there. And then soften that out with my fingers. All right. Break it up, add some movement to the water. Add some little sky, rippling, reflection stuff. Very light. Either someone's having fun with a chainsaw or a dirt bike or something like that. Somewhere in my neighborhood. I'm sure the neighbors love that. Alright, continue with this, kind of layering colors on top. All right, get that nice, pretty color. All right, so right in here, I'm going to put a little of this brown. Okay, just to kind of start with a base, I guess. Like I always said, it's always easier to start darker, even if the reference photo doesn't show that. It's always easier to start darker than what it actually is, and then lighten up as you go, at least for me. All right, yeah, getting a lot of sticks up here. Let me put some of those down. And then after I put that dark there, and I'm going to go ahead and smooth that out. You see how I just blend those right into each other. Okay. It almost creates the rippling naturally. I don't have to put much effort into that. And we're going to take this light, more lighter ochre. It's got a little bit more golden tones in it. That's going to come in over the top of that to get closer to the, again, what the reference shows me. And this is that transition to a shallow water area to much deeper water. Okay. Let's keep rolling with that. A little bit of a dark. Smooth it out. Thumb works well for this. Again, I'm using, of course, the Hayas, as you know. So they're very easy to move like this. It's just so easy. It doesn't take a lot of effort at all, really. Okay. Now there is a bunch of little rocks and stuff, but I'm not thinking about that now. I'm more trying to get closer to the actual, just the color in general. Okay. We'll worry about details later on. Here, let's put a little bit of darks in here with the blue. Okay, now over on this side, same kind of situation. I'm going to put in some darks. I'll start some of this brush and blue over here. And I need to move things around because it gets kind of crowded. There we go. Getting down towards the bottom here, it gets a little crowded. And some darks. Okay, and also see like a green, which is interesting. Kind of this green. There's see a little bit of different shades of color here. Kind of between a green and this ochre, somewhere in there. You can see I just put lots of different colors here. General colors of the area kind of getting all mixed in. This pretty green right there, and then we're just gonna let that mix all together. Move that water around, horizontal fashion. I need it dark right there. And a little does go a long way with these soft Hayas. You can really spread them pretty far, just like these Sens. Sens work the same way. They're so soft that you can really move them with ease. Okay, got a lot of sky reflection right in that spot right there. There's a lot of different variations of blues and greens. And then this kind of this lavender-ish. I'm going to clean this stick up and add a little bit of this to it, because that's what I see there in the reference. It's a lot of this kind of laying on the top. It's basically the surface of the water itself that reflects a lot of the sky, the blue in the sky. But you can see a hint of that here in the shallowness of the water. Okay, so we'll put a little of that in there. And then I need a brighter, or I don't know if this is the right one. That might be it. It's a little bit of okay, put that back. Again, more of this. Let's just move all this around. Okay, let's put this all kind of right, that I'm using all these colors here in the water. Things get too crowded on that little ledge. So sometimes I need to do that. So it's easier just to work down here. There we go. Starting to shape up. Okay. Just a light drag over that. Come in over here. Lay that lavender blue over the top of all that. What's great about this particular color is it does really sit on top very well to these darker tones underneath. Now I could press into one my finger and get that to blend, but I don't really want to do that. I really want that to sit, make it look like it's sitting on the top. Okay. Shallow water is fun. It's fun to play around and try to find the right combination of the colors here to make it all work. different blues. Come in and add very light scrubbing to the top of that. Try to get that light to reflect off the top of the water. That's the kind of effect I want to go for. Okay, now with a log here, so we're going to come in with some details on the log area. I want to put a little bit of this green right here. It's pretty green in the water, I see right there. Yeah, just kind of keep poking at it, you know. Keep poking, keep trying, layering different colors, and it'll all turn out. Making great progress. All right. Yeah. I think I'm going to go to the next step here and work on this log. All right, so let's look at the log and the bush. All right, so I need to go a lot lighter than what I have. Question is, I got some choices here. We got this, we got this. First, let's get it a little darker. Okay, so I'm going to come in with my, again, a brown and a blue. It's a good place to start when you're thinking about darks. And just kind of lay in some darks where I see them. Okay, we have a bunch of limbs, or branches, broken off branches coming off this log, all in a bunch of different directions. Okay. All right, and when the two of them together, the brown and the blue together, I can get it darker, which is a nice way to get some darkers. Now, if I want to go even darker, I have this really dark blue right here. Now, I'll save this for the very kind of front part of this. But you can see the log this part of the log looks like it's underwater. Okay. All right. Yeah, so this part is going to be my darkest darks right there in the front, in the foreground, right? So anyway, let's kind of work those in. We got a branch kind of sticking out right there. Other ones here and there. Right, this old log that's been sitting here for probably a long time. Now we'll bring in the light. And let's just see if that's the right light. And I'm going to have to go lighter than that. Maybe something that more leans to the yellow. That might be a little bit better. And then we'll bring some brights to that. Get a little sticky or gooey. Okay, something like that. And then on the other side of the shadow part, I'm going to bring in a little bit of this red-ish color just to kind of give a little bit of light to the shadowed side. Okay, and I do see some of this continue right here, and even some right here. Okay, and then we have some reflections or shadows it makes within the water itself, kind of right next to it. And I'm going to bring a stump here to try to help with that tight little spaces in there. Okay. Now we need to bring a little bit of a brighter bright. So is that going to be probably going to be a white, just to bring a strong light, kind of sun hitting right on the side of that. See how that light just hits the side of that log there and really pops it. This is just the white from the Haya. It's pretty strong white, it lays pretty good. I would say the sun white is just a little better as far as the brightness of it or the thickness of it. But the Haya is very good. I don't need to bring in a sen. Try to do this all 100% high at least for the most of this. All right. Making good progress. Okay, and I'm going to bring some of this water going right across the top of that part right here. Try to act like the water is moving over that part of the log. Okay? So that part of it, like this part, is above the water, and then part of it is being submerged right here. Okay, now that looks pretty good on that effect. Now to make that even a little bit more realistic, so I'll take, it's either going to be one of these, but it might be this blue one. We're going to add a little water line going around the log somewhat. Okay, kind of where the water kind of comes up next to the side of it. See that? Just a little indication of that. Now on the bright side, it's going to be a little brighter because it's getting more light, more sun. We can just dab in some white here in the surface of the water. Give it a little bit of sun reflect, strong light reflecting off the surface there. Okay. It's either going to be this gray or this white. Or both. And even continue on with this, some of this over here. Just hit and miss a couple spots, you know. Kind of that sparkling on the surface of the water that you'll see. Okay, not bad. Pretty good effect. Pretty good effect. Like I said, water is a lot of fun, especially when it comes out just right. Okay, now we've got a big green bush situation, and I see it right here. I'm going to add a little bit of a dark here first. Okay, big green bush. And then where's that dark green? We're just going to start building the bush. And I got to come in a lot lighter green, but this is a start. And this bush is pretty tall. It actually extends all the way up right into the side of this up here. So it really covers a lot of this area. Okay, this is just the start, the dark parts of it, basically. And we got to get some lighter greens in here to really make it good. Need a stump here to get working this delicate area right here where the finger becomes a little bit too fat. Put some color down. And then I need some of this green I was working into the water right about here. Just again looking at the reference in comparison to where I need to add certain colors. Okay, back to the bush. Again, just always work darks first. Always work the darks first. Might even bring a darker dark right here. Right at the base of that bush where it kind of starts. Maybe even draw some of the branches in there. Okay. Right now I need some lighter greens, so could use some of this. Let's see what this looks like, at least to start with. That's pretty promising. Let's kind of keep working with this one. Now, I know I'm going to go brighter here. I got to really pop the light because it's coming strong, but this is a good start. Probably going to have like 3 or 4 different greens just for this little bush situation here. I'm just kind of plopping in, making those marks. Kind of let the texture kind of act as leaves and branches and such, things like that. Okay, get the idea there. Okay, so there's one shade. Let's go even brighter. Let's bring this guy really bright green. See if I can pop that right on top of there somewhere to get my really bright light popping into this bush. I do have to wipe here, start with a clean stick every once in a while because it gets a little goopy. But that's definitely working to what I felt like I needed to do here. Okay. I'm just kind of pushing in and kind of twisting, push, twist, just to get that color to sit down and stay there. And use both sides of it. Try to find, eventually it'll just stop and just stick right onto where I need to be. Okay, let's put in a little, kind of see branches in there a little bit. There we go. Starting to really take shape. My brown, maybe some again, little branches here and there. Very dark, can't really see what's going on underneath that, but I do see a water line back in those shadows. It's like it's growing out of the water, it feels like. Something like that. It adds interest, right? That's the point of reason why I showed this was an interesting bush and log, kind of right off here to the left of this scene. Okay. Now back in there, I don't really need to do much, except maybe kind of thinking about it back in here. It's like some cooler greens, some shrubbery or something that's kind of way far behind it. It's in the shadow part. Okay. Add some evergreens. Just bring some of this green and just kind of scrub it in the back there. I don't want a lot of detail, so it's more or less, it's really just getting a little bit of color back in this back area. Okay. And then we can bring in a little bit stronger light. I think this one though. Sorry. Yeah, this one. Tops of these trees. Okay. Remember, my light's coming down this slope, right? But it does hit some of the tops areas of these trees as it kind of makes its way down. Hits the top of those trees back in there as it kind of filters through. Okay, but real faint. Okay, because we want this guy to pop, right? We want this guy right here to pop, come forward. We don't want that to blend to the back. We want this guy to come up. So this very much more deliberate, stronger color. Been working on this for an hour. Wow, an hour goes by really fast when you're having fun. Okay. Okay, looking good. I'm very happy with how this is all coming around. I'm going to keep working here. I'm going to take a break, just kind of clean up the sticks a little, clean up my hands. And then I'm going to do a little bit more work in the water here, bring some pebbles, and then we're going to fine tune some of these areas, and we're getting close. All right, so let's take a break.